From Nutrient Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Atmospheric Scientist Andrew Pritchard with your Ag Weather Story for Monday, November 25th, 2024. Your three things to know today. We have pockets of wintry precipitation to talk about as we head into the holiday weekend. We've got a cold start to December on tap from the Canadian Prairie to the Northern Plains into the Cornbelt, much of the southeastern U.S., and then we'll talk about an update to the winter weather outlook as well. Now, as we just start off looking at the hazards map here on Monday morning, a couple pockets of winter weather advisories across the upper Midwest, northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, several inches of snow over the next 24 to 48 hours. The Northeast, we have a winter weather advisory there, and then pockets of winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in the interior Rockies, parts of the Sierras, where we're talking about 1 to 2 feet of snow over the next several days. Your severe weather outlook today, no severe weather forecast. A couple of thunderstorms are possible, certainly across parts of southwest Oregon into northwestern California, and then from parts of the Delta there, the mid-south, into the mid-Atlantic. Tomorrow, severe weather outlook, no thunderstorms forecast across the area. Of course, a quiet late November pattern as far as thunderstorm activity is concerned. Not quiet as we look at the big picture, though, just animating the mid-level water vapor imagery here. Couple of things to point out. We have a departing low here over the Atlantic. This is the little swirl that is triggering some of the snow across the upper Midwest into the Canadian Prairie. That's going to get hung up here in the Hudson Bay and be kind of the first domino in a big pattern change. And then we've got another area of low pressure sitting off the coast of Washington and Oregon. This is the one that brings that chance for some thunderstorms and some heavy onshore flow, heavy moisture coming in here. Another atmospheric river event here. This area of low pressure makes its way in across the Rockies and brings some snow to parts of the Ohio Valley as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So we'll kind of change the view here, looking at the 500 millibar height anomalies. Again, here's the departing low. Here's the disturbance across the Canadian Prairie and the Northern Plains, the border there between the U.S. and Canada, bringing that light snow to the region over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then here is the next storm system. So let's go ahead and animate this. Just take it over the next few days. Take this in here through Monday into Tuesday. This is now Wednesday. Look at this complicated pattern. Here's the first disturbance now over the eastern Canada, the Northeast. 1, 2, 3 disturbances here from the upper Midwest to the interior Rockies up toward the Canadian Prairie. This signals a big pattern change. We're going to develop a large upper level low across the Great Lakes, ridging across the western U.S. That sets us up, for a much colder pattern. This is the pattern change we've been looking for, and as we think about the last several Decembers, one that we've really lacked, as we've seen, mild, quiet weather across the Corn Belt the last couple of Decembers. This is going to be a very different pattern here as we talk about northwesterly flow in the jet stream bringing in cold shots of Arctic air over the next several weeks. Now, as we look at the jet stream winds that accompany this, again, just kind of watching the overall evolution as we head through the next 5 to 10 days. The result as we get to the end of November, the beginning of December here is going to be this big upper level trough across the Hudson Bay, parts of the Great Lakes, strong jet stream flow coming in, from the northwest into the Midwest, bringing in shots of colder air and at times some doses of some wintry precipitation. In the near term, this is what we've got. Again, snow across the Great Lakes as we get the week started. This is your Monday into your Monday night. Across parts of the eastern Corn Belt, the Ohio Valley, we're talking about light rain, maybe some drizzle here, and otherwise gloomy and mild Monday for us. Some colder air comes in on the backside on that cold front here, so trending much colder over the next 24 to 48 hours across the Corn Belt. Get a little bit of a quiet lull here Tuesday into Wednesday before we start to see that next disturbance bring that chance for some wintry precipitation to the Ohio Valley. We're talking about a light rain, light snow mix here. Some areas seeing a trace to maybe an inch or two of snow accumulation across the eastern Corn Belt before we get some higher accumulations as the storm system kind of wraps up into New England heading into the weekend. This is what we've got through Thursday evening from the latest NAM model. Again, feet of snow across the interior Rockies, a couple of inches across northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, a little bit heavier as you make your way into parts of the eastern UP where we could see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. And then as you talk about the eastern Corn Belt, the Ohio Valley, that snow that comes in here late Wednesday into the day Thursday and into Friday across the Northeast. The trend is not really in favor of a widespread significant swath of snow here. There are some models that suggest maybe, an inch, 2, 3 inches. You see 2 inches kind of spit out here from the NAM model. Some of this does mix with snow and some of it will be melting as it falls as well. So this model is kind of just putting out how much snow will fall. I don't know that we'll actually see a whole lot on the ground as we head into, Thursday evening, Thanksgiving evening, Friday morning across parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. The chances for some heavier snow to actually accumulate begin to increase as you head into the Northeast, parts of central and eastern Pennsylvania, on into New England. Maybe a better chance of some snow sticking around as we head into the end of the week. Looking at some of these models, comparing, again, that was the NAM, European on the left, GFS on the right here. The European, again, kind of jumping around with the snow totals, flirting with a trace to a couple of inches, whereas the GFS has been a lot more negative here with that Illinois, Indiana, Ohio corridor, really kind of just not in favor of anything sticking around. Again, the NAM, the GFS, not really in favor of a lot of snow. The European kind of jumping around. So I would say the trend is not all that significant. Certainly, we could see some wintry vibes across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. The European ensemble, around a 50 to 60% chance of seeing 1 inch or more of snow, and the GFS not really picking anything up until you get into the New England area. Again, as I mentioned, as this storm system kind of wraps up, getting into Pennsylvania, New York, off into New England, a slightly better chance of some snow actually sticking around. From Illinois into Ohio, I think it's going to be kind of a cool, rainy snow mix. Not a whole lot of disruption, not a whole lot of snow sticking around. I was also asked about the winds associated with this one. Not looking at a real tight gradient. We're going to see some colder air coming in here again Tuesday into Wednesday on the backside of this first storm system. And then as we get into Wednesday night and Thursday, here's the storm system that brings that chance of some snow across the eastern Cornbelt. Again, not a real deep area of low pressure, kind of just a broader, weaker low, not a lot in the way of strong winds. Again, it's going to be colder across parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio with that rain-snow mix, but not a real strong push of winds on the north side, probably talking about anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. So this is your Thursday, your Thanksgiving forecast. Again, pretty good for a lot of folks across the western 2/3 of the U.S., but as you make your way into the eastern Corn Belt, the Ohio Valley down to the southeast, it's going to be a soggy one, and then further north into New England, that's where you got that chance for some more disruptive snow, some actual snow accumulating and sticking around. And then as we head on into the holiday weekend, this big upper level low continues to deepen. We're going to see a lot of cold air across the Great Lakes, at times some flurries circulating around the backside of that. But other than, a lot of cold air, no real significant storm systems making their way into the lower 48 or the Canadian Prairie for the rest of the Thanksgiving weekend, talking about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just looking at colder temperatures and some pockets of snow from the Prairie into New England, into the Ohio Valley, parts of the Northern Plains, mild and quiet across the Southwest U.S. This is the next 5 days of total precipitation. Again, we've talked a lot about the snow chances, but down across parts of the Mid-South into the Gulf Coast states, parts of northern Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, anywhere from, half an inch to an inch of rain. That half an inch of rain possibility continues on into the Ohio Valley, parts of the Mid-Atlantic as well. And then as we talked about that colder air, this is just looking at, Champaign, Illinois, where we work here, the Innovation Farm. The high around 42 tomorrow, 43 on Wednesday, 38 Thursday, down to highs in the mid-20s. And look at those overnight lows, down into the lower teens across parts of central Illinois. This will be the truth across much of the Corn Belt as well. A big shot of colder air as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday weekend and then on into the first couple of days of December. You can really visualize this here looking at the European AI forecast system. This is a sliding 5-day window of temperature anomalies. You see that big push of cold air that's been building across the Canadian Prairie. We finally kind of open the floodgates here and allow that air to spill into the Corn Belt all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Hey, even the Florida Peninsula is going to be seeing those temperatures anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees colder than average as we head into the end of November and the beginning of December. Now, as we look at the seasonal forecast, this is for December, January, and February, really reflective of the pattern that we're kind of slipping into here in early December. This is one that would, again, kind of have a milder, drier temperatures from the southwest into the southeastern U.S. with the lack of that subtropical jet stream. And then at times, the polar jet bringing in shots of colder air to the northwest. We could see those spilling into the Corn Belt, at times. And then with that, looking for Pacific moisture, bringing heavier precipitation, more frequent storm systems to the northwest U.S., and then at times, those systems kind of dive down into the Great Lakes, and we could see a more active storm track establish itself at times across the Great Lakes, parts of the central and eastern Corn Belt, with kind of equal chances there across the high plains. We get kind of rain shadowed by the storm systems that come in there from the polar jet stream as they make their way over the Rockies. So Again, a not real strong signal, necessarily of heavy precipitation across the northern plains, but certainly, at times we could see one of those storm systems sneak in and really ramp up, bringing in those higher impact winter weather conditions. Checking in with sea surface temperatures then, finally, as we wrap up this video, we continue to see that kind of weaker La Nina look there. Colder temperatures in the Gulf of Alaska with this deep area of low pressure here. A lot of active flow kind of churning those colder waters up toward the surface. We can look at the sea surface temperature trend over the last 7 days. And again, a lot of cooling going on there as we've seen several atmospheric river events, several really intense areas of low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska just off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. So that's a quick look there at your next 10 days and beyond. So as I just kind of take a look at the jet stream pattern as we head into the first week of December, we're looking for this big Pacific jet streak that makes its way across the Pacific from Asia, but then we see this split flow, that loss of the subtropical jet stream, which is very typical of La Nina, that variable polar jet stream with ridging across the western U.S., strong northwesterly flow coming out of the Canadian prairie, again, bringing in colder temperatures, and at times linking up there with the jet stream across the southern U.S., giving us an active storm track across the Ohio River Valley. Just kind of looking at the 30-day height anomaly pattern for the month of December, just picking out kind of the three main players. Again, it's going to be fast jet stream flow across the Pacific Ocean, ridging over the western U.S., troughing over the eastern U.S. That sets us up for a cold, potentially active pattern across the Cornbelt into the eastern United States, heading on into December and beyond. As always, you can get daily weather details and field-level insights in the Nutrien Ag Solutions Weather Safety app and at nutrienagsolutions.com.